What's going on, guys? It's Nathan. Welcome to episode 33 of Hyperspace Hype, where we don't have the best news, but we're going to offer a lot of different intake of different things, as we do every week. And joining us, as always, today we have Evan.
Hey guys, how's it going? Slow news week for Star Wars, and similar to Wednesday's episode of My Cup of Tea, we have a bit of an emotional episode coming up with John Boyega's comments and everything about that. But also we got a tease from Mando that's interesting, some High Republic news, which is pretty fun. And then lastly, I also want to talk about my recent Darth Vader comics that I've been reading too. So we can cap off on that as well.
Also joining us today, we have Carson.
Yeah, we got some more serious topics in the beginning, because I think this first topic especially is, bigger than StarArs and bigger than even Hollywood in general. So it's important to talk about. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. And then, yeah, just some little bit of tidbit here, tidbit scoop there. It just feels like until we get Mando season 2, it's just going to be like, here's your little bone until, until we get something like
I know, right?
concrete. But I'm excited to talk about it regardless. And it feels like these next few weeks on Hyperspace Hype are going to be super fun, because I feel like we're just going to start getting a wave of Mando content and all the promotional material. And I feel like once that first thing drops, we're just going to get all hyped all over again for the season, even though we've been kind of craving it for some time now. But yeah, let's talk about all this stuff.
Yeah, so just to lead off with today's show. Just lead off with today's show. We got interesting topic, that being of throwing over to Carson. What kind of pizza did you have tonight?
I had pepperoni pizza.
Wow.
Pretty
Disgusting.
basic.
Disgusting.
However, transition. Wait, Nathan has to hit it. Nathan, you get to.
I got it. Just toss it in. Here we go.
Aha!
Boom!
So, we got this article. Nathan, you want to
introduce? Yes, leading up, as you can see, reading. John Boyega had a plethora of words to say in his interview with GQ, both beyond Star Wars and including it. And as you see, just from the start headline, John Boyega: I'm the only cast member whose experience of Star Wars was based on race. There was a lot of info to come out regarding, like I said, not just in his experience with Star Wars, even though this is Star Wars-based thing. It goes further beyond that throughout his whole Hollywood career, basically. And it was a lot to take in. How did you guys feel reading through this?
It was very interesting. So this was not surprising, given some of his recent, I guess not recent, because it's been a couple of months now since the Rise of Skywalker. But I think in that early days there, like in that January, February time on Twitter, he's gotten very vocal about what he thinks about the trilogy and his character specifically. Even after The Last Jedi, he had a couple of tweets here and there about how he felt about his character. So that was not really surprising. But what I did like, technically outside of the Star Wars realm there, is that he kind of expanded that into his experience in the Hollywood industry, because Disney is the owner of Star Wars, even though it's technically Lucasfilm that is producing these movies as well. But he talked about how Disney and Lucasfilm has been treating him and other people of color within the Star Wars universe, specifically with the Star Wars trilogy, or the sequel trilogy that he was involved in. And then, he expanded that into how what's going on now with the Black Lives Matter movement, and how Hollywood's just bad track record in general with people of color and their representation there.
Yeah, I think that's the especially important part is I feel like some people initially with this discussion jump to like, oh, John, I love The Last Jedi. Don't tell me that you got sidelined. It's like, it doesn't matter what you think. You aren't John Boyega and you didn't have his experience. Like, right. I guess that it's frustrating to see people like jump to like, oh, but Finn had such a satisfying arc in The Last Jedi, which to me he did, but that was not John's experience. John's experience is quite different, and it's outlined here. And that doesn't make his frustrations any less valid because you liked a movie. This is much bigger than a movie. This is how Hollywood is systematically, pushing him aside pushing people of color aside. And of course, that stems into his career all the way to, you know, just everyday life, where all the protests of this year and just the protests of, you know, probably the last decade and everything that's happening. Like it's much bigger than Star Wars. So I guess that was my main takeaway at first was, you know, it was kind of like to check myself and say, hey, like it doesn't matter what you think of his character in the movie. You didn't personally experience him, what he was going through, you know, throughout the evolution of the trilogy and, you know, the rise of his career and, you know, even now the fallout of the sequel trilogy. I still feel like people have expectations of him, and he's like, it's kind of disheartening to see the Star Wars fandom like kind of do that sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I echo like both those points 100%. It's insane, and I think especially in regards to the sequel trilogy, like the big start of it was like from the get-go of Force Awakens. Like the whole marketing was pinpointing him as the lead powerful character.
Yeah, let's dig into that there, because this is a Star Wars podcast. I want to dig into like his experience, the claims he made towards his experience, and like our thoughts on that. Because going off of exactly what Nathan said there, I think starting from the beginning, this stems from The Force Awakens, the marketing thereof. Now, I love The Force Awakens. I'm pretty sure we all do love The Force Awakens. Even John Boyega loves The Force Awakens. Nathan tweeted out a video of what's it called? The Force Awakens trailer, the final trailer, which John Boyega reacting.
Sean that did that.
That was Sean? Okay, yeah. Tweeted out a trailer, a reaction of John Boyega, and we all went wild about that when that came out because we felt so happy for John. But just reflecting on that, and then reflecting on the, I guess, the reaction post The Force Awakens once that finally came out, you can kind of see a dichotomy there, not in terms of Boyega being disappointed, but like when you see the connection between how The Force Awakens marketed Finn and then to see how his character developed over the trilogy, you can kind of form you can connect the dots. You can see a connection there. And I agree with Nathan there. I think this stems from the whole J.J. Abrams scenario. And I remember having this discussion post, like in 2016, the 2017 era, the era between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. I remember having these conversations with people on some podcasts. I name dropped Scavenger's Horde podcast as well, because I remember they talked about this in that time as well, about how we all like The Force Awakens, but J.J. Abrams' Mystery Machine, his marketing, which he's so well known for, kind of did Finn a disservice there, in the sense that in that final trailer, you see Finn with the lightsaber. Even in the first trailer, he's the first person that you see. He's the first character that pops up in that teaser trailer that came out in November 2014. So people were like, okay, wow, he's the main character. And then you transition to see him with the lightsaber. You're like, okay, wow, he might be the Jedi. And he's fighting Kylo Ren? Holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, and breaking that down to, like, there's multiple points of marketing. Like, I remember, I think it might have been, like, sometime around Thanksgiving, they had a specific Finn TV spot that was, like, 45 seconds going, like, you don't know anything about me. And he was, like, showing the Stormtrooper fight and the Kylo Ren fight,
yeah, and that was so, like, for me, I was like, oh, this is very exciting. I can't wait to see him become a Jedi. Like, it was pre-2015. I didn't have a lot of these crazy theories.
Right. We didn't know what to expect, really.
I did not think it was like to right? I did not want any of that.
Yeah. And of course, people I've seen people clap back with like, oh, well, he knew what the script was for Force Awakens. He knew what his role was entitled. But it's like, how can you say that to him when, you know, his idea of his character getting, further developed was still a mystery at that point. He didn't know what The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker were going to look like. So of course he's holding on to that hope. He's like, okay, you know, I'm planting the seeds here in Force Awakens, and I'm, you know, setting up the seeds to my characters to get that further nuance later on. And even the part of the article that I have pulled up here is like, he's talking about how, they knew what to do with Daisy Ridley. They knew what to do with Adam Driver. They gave him all the nuance. And also this quote about, you know, how he was kind of shaken up about the character order in The Last Jedi. So to me, it's like that stuff supersedes my opinions about like, I could sit here and be like, oh, in The Force Awakens, he was running, he wasn't choosing to fight. So when he is actually with a lightsaber, he's ambivalent. Or in The Last Jedi, he chooses the resistance, and that becomes impactful. Just because that's impactful to me doesn't mean that any of this this takes higher priority in his voice being heard on how he felt about it, because at the end of the day, I think people felt in The Rise of Skywalker probably did him the most disservice. I feel like maybe he would have at least a slightly different opinion if we're sitting here post The Rise of Skywalker, if he did get that nuanced ending and is some more satisfactory arcs in The Rise of Skywalker, because in that movie he really doesn't do much. He's kind of just like comedic relief, kind of with the trio. He has like one line of conflict with Poe. There's just not a lot for him to chew on in The Rise of Skywalker, and I really wish that we were having the conversation of how Finn's character became one of the best in the sequel trilogy. But to me, that movie really let me down in terms of ending Finn's arc in a satisfying way. And it's clear that, John Boyega felt that way too.
I agree. And it's interesting you mentioned The Rise of Skywalker, Carson, because like specifically in those two paragraphs we have laid out there, it seems to be mentioning The Last Jedi and everything that went on there.
Right. Yeah.
Even prior and post to Rise of Skywalker, I think, at least in my opinion, he liked his role more so in The Rise of Skywalker than in The Last Jedi. Does that partially have to stem from like his experience working with Daisy again, working with Oscar again? I think that helps. I think, at least in my mind, I think he did like his role in The Rise of Skywalker. But if you compound that with our reactions, most critics' reactions to Rise of Skywalker regarding Finn and what could have been, I think he does feel like, with you, Carson, I feel like this could have been better. Like this could have been, it could have grown more. And like you were saying with The Last Jedi, I'm with you guys both, and I think that Finn's arc is fantastic. Of course, John disagrees with that, but that's the subjective of it all, right? Like, that's the subjective of it all is Finn's arc, how people perceive Finn's arc, how people perceive the films in general. When we're critiquing films and the characters within films, that's of course the subjective of it all. The objective of it all is how the industry is treating people of color and
and how behind the scenes all of this gets filtered and unfiltered through all these different perspectives. And we don't, and even in this article he's talking about like, press tours and like how some of the people that they hired like didn't want him to like wear certain things or have his hair in a certain, black hairstyle because that wasn't like appealing to audiences, and just all this stuff that he goes through. So that all builds the frustration, it's not just, hey, I didn't like my character in the movie. And to like, dilute it to that, I think misses the whole point. So I think it's really important everybody reads this whole article, paragraph to paragraph.
Exactly. I think like he's not saying, he is kind of saying like he didn't enjoy his character's arc, but on top of that, like specifically when he mentions people like Daisy and Adam, you can kind of see like outside of like disliking or liking a character's arc, the objective of it all is that for him at least, I'm not gonna say objective. This is just subjective for him at least, for his experience. He feels like Daisy and Adam got a more juicier role in The Last Jedi, even in The Rise of Skywalker, I'd argue, than Finn's character. And I think from his experience, that has to hurt. Even though, like I said, I think John Boyega gets a lot of great development and depth in The Last Jedi. I think for him, like when he's comparing it, in comparison to like the two leads of Daisy and Adam, he kind of feels ousted there, especially after, like we just talked about with The Force Awakens, where he felt like there's a lot of potential for his character.
And he also mentions Oscar Isaac in Poe too, because Oscar Isaac is a person of color too, and
and Kelly too.
He mentions Kelly, and and Naomi. Those three characters, especially in Rise of Skywalker, from my perspective, really got the iron end of the stick. I mean, They reduced Poe to like the weird Spice Runner backstory. That was yikes. Kelly was on screen for all 4 seconds, and we just talked about John Boyega's role, and on-screen presence alone, they were great when they're on screen, but at the end of the day, I wish that they could be still acknowledging these flaws that they have with the system, but like still being like, hey, maybe it worked in the Rise of Skywalker because we were able to give input, blah 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 blah. Like, but it's just kind of a bummer that it's led to this.
Yeah, the main point of it all, like there's so much potential that they could have done, especially after highlighting John Boyega in like I said again, he's the first character that you see in the Force Awakens teaser. There's so much potential, so much build up, and when it just leads to disappointment for him at least, when he sees like his character get kind of ousted in The Last Jedi and in The Rise of Skywalker. Of course, again, I disagree, but it's not my stance to disagree or agree with John's experience. I can disagree with his opinion, of course, but I cannot disagree with his experience. In his experience, he was claiming how he feels like there was like a toxic environment overall in terms of his role and his screen time and like in Hollywood in general. I think he wants to showcase how people of color and characters and actors are kind of like not getting their due, and I think that's what it mainly comes down to.
I want to quickly shout out another article here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good piece about how basically the sequel trilogy let down John Boyega as a nuanced black character, just building up in the sequel trilogy. I think it's really well done. It's by Robert Daniels. I believe he has 812 reviews on Twitter. He's a pretty well-known critic, and I think it's just a really articulate kind of article. And it was written kind of right in the heat of when the days that John Boyega went out and protested. And specifically, I wanted to read this last paragraph here of the white creatives that have powered Hollywood for 100 years are familiar with the slave narrative, but have never been great at telling a story of what comes after. From the black revolutionaries of the Vietnam War to the voices of Black Lives Matter, the real-life black people who fight racism and oppression are continually lost in Star Wars' larger parallels. Now Boyega is left to pick up the unrealized pieces of a black revolutionary in a tentpole film franchise. He's what Finn could have been, a hero acutely translating his anger and the era's unfettered outrage into actionable support for those suffering most, no matter the comfortability of those around him. And I thought that was just a really articulate kind of summary of this whole deal.
It's fantastic. I completely agree with everything in that last paragraph. I have to read this article. I remember seeing that floating around, but never got around to reading it. And just skimming above that, I can tell like he agrees with a lot of our examples of what we thought Finn could have gone to in terms of being revolutionary and everything like that in The Rise of Skywalker and in The Last Jedi as well. So yeah, again, it's like he didn't get his due, unwarranted or unseen potential in Finn's character. And John Boyega, as a black actor, has to confront these things, especially when he's getting criticism left and right for stuff that is out of his control. And I just feel like you just feel a lot of the anger building up and leads to that GQ article that we're discussing today.
Right. It's a lot to take in for sure. Especially just the GQ article. It's full length piece.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does even go beyond Star Wars, and it's interesting because I think they were even like breaking down like how busy he was in 2017, how he had to start up his own company to even get Pacific Rim Uprising off the ground, which was interesting because I remember being at like the Last Jedi panel in Orlando for Celebration, and they even like he was like briefly touching upon and how excited he was for it. And it sucks that like that amongst the whole Star like those two big franchises that didn't like go the best way for him. It just plainly it all just sucks.
I'm glad that he's out of all, besides obviously Adam Driver getting roles 24/7 because the man never stops working. Of the newer kind of cast members of the sequel trilogy that really came to fame from the sequel trilogy, he seems to be getting the most workload and most kind of diverse and cool projects, at least from my perspective. That I'm really excited to see some of these his post Star Wars career. Maybe he does come back someday, but I think this is something that's going to need to be addressed if they want to do an episode 10. And so that's kind of a bigger thing, is like, John Boyega wouldn't come back right now, I don't think. And I think it's going to be some time before he would even consider it.
Yeah, I think it would easily probably be at least a decade before you would consider.
Yeah, I agree. I used to make jokes like, of course he's going to come back. When you get that money truck, of course you're going to come back, just like Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and them. But after seeing this kind of experience and the bigger issues that are at hand here, I think he wouldn't come back unless he has more of a creative say in everything that's going on. Granted, again, people are like, oh, he's just an actor. You shouldn't have that big of a role. But I'm just saying, given this experience and given the changes, the hopeful changes that should be and could be happening in Hollywood in general, even though, again, Hollywood is a very racist, I'll just say it is a very racist society, and racist and sexist, to that matter, arena to juggle, to climb his way through. But if he can navigate through that, I think he would love to come back, of course. There's always, with Star Wars, again, it's kind of cheesy, but there's always that hope that things could get better. So there's always that hope that the next time they do better, they treat the characters of people of color better. And slightly moving away from Finn, like throughout the sequel trilogy, Lucasfilm did an awful job with people like Kelly Marie Tran. He mentioned that in the article in terms of like her character, but also in terms of the criticism. Like, where were they when Kelly Marie Tran was getting hit with constant criticism in 2018? Like, constantly. Like, Ryan was there defending his film, but we never got a tweet saying, like during the whole Black Lives Matter thing, Star Wars tweeted out, like, we're with you, John Boyega.
But where is it now? It's like,
where is it now? Exactly. Where is it now? Where was it when Kelly was getting hit?
It's like that posturing activism where you're like, exactly. Hey, we support you. It frustrates me now looking back on actually Celebration 2019 in particular, where J.J. Abrams comes out on stage and says the biggest blessing that Rian Johnson gave him was to cast Kelly Marie Tran, and it feels so cold and disingenuous to get that ruse from the crowd, digging into that fan favorite. Because the fans had to pull Kelly back on her feet or support her because of everything that happened around her from other people, and it just sucks that they dig at that support and then flip it on its head and it reveals nothing.
I don't agree, and I don't understand like how they could not just tease that, but there's like a lot of time between April and December. Like, we were just seeing our first accompaniment of footage, and like they say that about Kelly, and then like the whole crowd gives a big standing ovation to Kelly. Like, we care about her, and you still choose to cut down to what was like 76 seconds.
Ridiculous. They show us a scene that's not even in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? It's awful. Granted, it's like, oh, editing, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
You could chop out easy. You have so many jokes.
So many jokes. There's so many things that could have been cut out in The Rise of Skywalker. And going back to The Rise of Skywalker, there's the whole J.J. Abrams controversy that shouldn't be a controversy of it all, because John Boyega slightly defended him, saying like he wasn't even supposed to come back to save this franchise or whatever, which is kind of true. He wasn't supposed to come back. But he did. But there's two things. I see John Boyega's defense of JJ, even though we talked about, JJ kind of is to blame for the initial perception and the post perception of Finn's character because of the marketing for the Force Awakens, which is all him. And then what's it called? But then JJ was the one to cast Finn, I believe. Or he was one of the ones to accept Finn. So I don't think he was initially supposed to be, or Finn's character, I don't think he was initially supposed to be a black male character. I could be wrong there.
I think you're right.
In hindsight, it kind of feels like the character of Finn, like especially for marketing, was used for mystery box style for Rey, basically.
I mean, that's what it was. Yeah, that's
Yep.
exactly what it was. They wanted the whole mystery box reveal of Rey catching the lightsaber, which is freaking awesome. But they wanted that reveal to be super top secret. That they did it to the expense of Finn's character and to John Boyega as an actor, which is very harmful. Just in the big zeitgeist of Hollywood itself, which completely sucks. And again, like I was saying, he did a great job of casting. JJ is a great in terms of diverse casting, but it's time for Hollywood to get beyond diverse casting.
And follow through. You know,
exactly.
It's not enough to attach yourself with producer to a project or, you know, give the resources behind and cast somebody. You need to actually put in the legwork to realize the kind of actions behind those meanings and what casting a person of color actually means for both their career and the story potential that they have to tell in a, you know, compelling and not stereotypical way that has, you know, these people get boxed into a lot of times in Hollywood.
Exactly, Carson. It's like beyond casting, you have to implement them into the story in a meaningful and effective ways that doesn't seem like, again, disingenuous or doesn't seem very just bad in terms of like Kelly Marie Tran. Like, oh, she's in the movie, but then she doesn't do jack crap in The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, look at what is the line? I have to look at star charts. Are you fucking kidding me?
Kidding me?
I'm like that. Oh, it angers me.
It's awful.
Like, so easily you could have had her come along. There's plenty of useful points for her to just be active in the plot, but at most she's just kind of like giving a couple lines, one of which is for service of a joke, and then like she's like briefly on the Star Destroyer assault, and then turning right back.
Yeah. Well, and she's literally so overtly sidelined. Like Finn literally puts his hand on her, is like, "Are you coming or not?" And then she like, I don't know.
Like they made it a point to tell the audience that she's not.
Right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then that compounds with the need for Star Wars, Disney. I'm always going to mention Disney because Disney is one of the biggest companies as a whole. If Disney starts to make these kind of changes, companies will follow. And yeah, I'm just like it's the need for Disney and Lucasfilm specifically to get more people of color, to get more female representation behind the camera, so stuff like this doesn't happen.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll even mention, and it still does when they. I'll bring up Mulan because I've been reading some stuff where, you know,
directed by a white female,
directed by and then they're like, oh, she has a powerful chi, and she's gonna get the power from that and not like earn it. It's just like one of those scenarios where they feel like they have to come up with something. To justify a person of color's experience in a way that wasn't or disservices it. It's just like, I don't know. It's frustrating.
It's super frustrating. And I was reading this thread by Hector Navarro. He was talking about it, and he mentioned one thing in the tweet. It's like, we just need, like, Star Wars, again, has great people of color character. We got Cassian Andor. We got Finn. We got what's it called? Lando. We got a lot of great things, especially in the sequel trilogy. We got Kira, but it's Kelly Marie Tran's Rose and Naomi Aki. It's like, but give these people more chances within the storytelling. Like, there shouldn't be but there is a lot of pushback towards like the possibility of a Rose Tico show. Why is there tons of pushback there? Like, it's just we want the opportunities for those characters to get the same kind of nuance that Kylo Ren gets, that Daisy Ridley gets, that
right. And I think it's so heartbreaking here, especially with Finn, because the prospect of a black stormtrooper, you know, rising out of the ranks and then joining the other side to fight for the good and then fight against the oppressor in a meaningful way of rising up as a leader and inspiring others. It's just like it seems like it's so ripe for potential, and it is, and it's just right there, and it just feels like it fell off the cliff, and it just sucks.
Exactly. It was right there. I remember making predictions for The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
Right. Thinking, Stormtrooper Rebellion.
Like, I was thinking, like, hey, this shouldn't even be in my prediction because it's so obvious, right? Like, this shouldn't even be in a prediction.
And, I mean, we got a deleted scene in Last Jedi, right?
Yeah, the concept isn't even lost to the writers, considering they did have that Phasma deleted scene where Finn's convincing the other troopers potentially.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was in the concept. It was in the story.
And I thought that was just going to be amplified 10 times on the biggest scale of one of, I thought Finn was going to have his moment, his monologue of saying, hey, you have a choice. You are bigger than your oppressor, and you can choose to fight against them right now, right here. I thought he was going to have that moment, and it would have been chill. It would have been chill inducing. I would have loved Finn to just, like I was talking about it in our group chat the other day, of just imagining Finn's having this monologue, and it's like, it's almost mirroring the shot that we get on Starkiller Base of all the, the very Nazi-esque stormtroopers on, listening to Hux's speech, but this time they're listening to Finn and they're taking off their helmets and they're humanized the characters, just like Finn was able to do from the perspective of the audience latching onto him, saying, hey, there's a guy behind this mask. And I think it was right there.
Yeah.
And I had so many theories on that, just in regards to seeing like a sea of Star Destroyers for the Tross marketing. Like so many like aspects. I was like, maybe Finn rallies all these Star Destroyers. Maybe
he takes over a Star Destroyer. Yeah, they've been amazing.
Maybe that's why he's running on the surface one. He's like leading garrisons. I don't know. But no, it's just Frastic that looks cool out of nowhere.
Exactly. Well said, guys. And then this is like the reason why this article was so powerful and so moving to a lot of fans, because it was just a lot of build-up for what we've seen throughout the sequel trilogy. Or not necessarily the sequel trilogy, but the last couple of years within Lucasfilm as a whole in their projects. Like just the anger that I had towards Solo, a Star Wars story, when they killed off Val for no reason in the first act of the movie. Ridiculous.
I felt so bad for her because she took her parents to the premiere or something, and they were like, "That's it."
Wow.
Like I remember reading that there was an interview with her that she took her parents to the premiere, and they were like, "We really liked you, but you weren't on screen that long." Like
killed off for another guy's anger. I'm just like, ugh.
Right, and then it's pretty much deduced to like one follow-up line of like, you trusted her, and then they don't really mention it throughout the entire movie again.
Not at all. And it's just like we see what happened with her, we see what happened with Kelly's character and Rise of Skywalker. So it's very disheartening. And then a lot of John Boyega's comments regarding his character just amplified that. It's like, yes, this is what we've been saying for the past 4 or 5 years now for Star Wars and Lucasfilm. We hope he's going to get better. But then even in terms of like behind the camera, because we're like, okay, Kathleen Kennedy keeps saying like, we're going to
utmost priority. We're going to hire, a women director for our main feature film, or
but then we get people like Joby Harold joining Kenobi. So we're like, okay, that's cool, I guess. Not. It's like, oh, another guy. And then I still remember they announced Jon Favreau to showrun The Mandalorian on International Women's Day. I'm like, just come on, Lucasfilm. And granted, we get great things with Deborah Chow in Mandalorian, and then we see that she gets great opportunities for Kenobi as well now. But that's just one instance.
Yeah. And I hope it leads to them kind of reevaluate. And I hope like a show like Cassian, which we've talked about for about a year now, as being inherently political. I really hope it sticks out its guns, and I hope it has some political context. I mean, all Star Wars has political context to it, but I really hope they dig into that angle overtly, because I feel like Diego Luna deserves that, and I feel like he would want to bring that to the character, especially in the rising ranks of the Resistance and everything that the show is going to be entangled in. It makes sense, and Bail Organa and everything right there.
I agree, dude. I agree 100%.
And I think they're going to hopefully be diving into that with just stronger, like the fact that they got Adria Arjona to basically co-lead with.
Yep.
I was about to mention her. She was the one that recently got added to the cast, right? Or revealed to us. She's probably already been in the cast. But even for her, I have hope that she's going to be a great character. But I'm not putting it past this show to kill her off just so Cassian can have an even more tragic story.
Which we talked about.
That happening.
That they're not like in the future existing events and like anything's on the table.
Exactly. We saw in Rogue One, like, oh, where's Cassian? Nope, we got to kill him off. Granted, they killed off a lot of people in Rogue One, and it kind of made sense. But I'm just saying, it's like still not a great look to kill off all these people of color and then make it make sense for the storytelling. But yeah, again,
that's awful when you like if they like do go that route and like they kill off their person of color, but then like you look at the other projects where like Kira's fine and out there. Why can't these people?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and even then for Kira, right? Like, what's taking so long for her to get her spotlight? It's like even her, a female character, just getting gypped, like in all these rumors. It's like, oh, Darth Maul's gonna have his thing, but then she's gonna be a side piece, or side character. And yeah, and I liked Kira a lot in Solo, but again, I think there was a potential for more for her character as well.
Meanwhile, I just pulled up this other tab of Lucasfilm, unintentional or not. As soon as that story went up, they had to tweet it out on the same day.
I think there's a whole article saying, or a whole tweet thread about how like this is pre-planned marketing. If it is, okay, but it's still just a bad look.
I feel like it would be pre-planned marketing. Like,
you're still hitting tweet, guys.
Already had the fact.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just a photo. Like that's so easy to pull out, and like the production team probably has that on so much piece of merch that they wear every day, and they're just like, here.
Carson, you said it exactly. They still have to push tweet. Like, you should have somebody in the HQ being like, tweet. Let me click this because it's on my schedule. Okay,
and John
cool.
Boyega was literally number one on trending. Rose Tico was trending. Or Kelly Marie Tran was trending. Everything
and then
was
boom, Baby Yoda training. Like,
Baby Yoda.
Just put it out on Friday.
It's
like,
so
come on.
It's so easy because like the GQ article, I remember like I was up. It dropped at like 3 a.m. Their official tweet, and like easily, if like a Lucasfilm employee wakes up 5 a.m., they just see it. They were like, hey, this is going around. It's not our best look. What can we do? I mean, you could address it like a decent human being, or distraction.
Or distraction.
Right.
Yeah,
and
like we said earlier, what happened to that "We Stand With You" John from Black Lives Matter?
Right. Like they have publicists. Like this is not beyond them. This is their job every day to navigate all these complex reactions and everything happening in the fan sphere and where else.
John's been pretty like active too in like regards to response to the article. I remember like somebody was calling him out like, well, you're not the only one who's getting sidelined. I mean, like look at Benicio del Toro, and John was like, well, that's not exactly the same thing here, but thank you for adding to my list of people who are also sidelined. People of color and stuff.
Yeah. Like I saw people responding to that. Like it's not a competition,
right? And it's like you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But a positive thing I saw is that Ray Fisher responded and said, "Hey, we should have a conversation." Or so after the Warner Brothers investigation or whatever for that Justice League thing is over, I think they're probably going to sit down and have a on-camera conversation, which would be really cool. I
would love that. This keeps heating up, by the way, because there was stuff today that Ray Fisher was.
Yeah, which is
he's full steam ahead, man. No stopping him.
I love it. But yeah, like just to cap it off, or maybe if you guys have more stuff to say, it's just I'm always hoping for more for Star Wars. I'm always hoping for more. This is my favorite franchise of all time. I'm always hoping.
But we can
more.
Still criticize and expect more from it when they're lacking.
Yes, which they have been lacking big time in terms of diverse and female representation, and it's ridiculous. And Kathleen Kennedy keeps saying there's going to be better stuff. We're looking to George Lucas for our future stories, and we're looking for more. Like you've been saying the same stuff for like 4 or 5 years now. You're about to retire next year.
And I'll be the first person to defend Kathleen Kennedy, but she's been doing that backpedal little smile and wave for years, and I'm sorry. It needs to be done. It needs to be done.
Ryan has done, but then let's go and do something.
And Leslie Headland, but then we just don't hear anything about that. Like okay,
it's ridiculous. And then she's leaving next year potentially. I think she is leaving next year. So if she can keep saying the same things as she's leaving, she can let the other person handle it.
And I've said on this show, I said her legacy for her last couple of years at Lucasfilm are going to come down to how she leaves it and how she leaves it to the future of those goals that she said that she wanted to reach. And, in a lot of ways, she's thrived and made Lucasfilm, how big it is today. But also, underneath the scope of everything, she's been lacking in some areas. And that's just the reality of the situation.
Can say it better myself. Yeah.
Yeah, and just like if I just go off anything presently, I feel like my biggest hopes for people of color working on further projects would basically come down to either Cassian, just based on its casting and topics, or hopefully whatever Taika comes up with. Just because I know he did, it was great, like off of Ragnarok, that character Valkyrie was such a prominent, strong character. So I'm hoping
Definitely,
Yeah.
that'll translate into the Star Wars, and I'm sure it will, because it was like such. I remember it being such a big thing too that he won Oscar this past year, I think, and like how it's person of color winning such an esteemed award.
Agreed. And one more thing for me, like there is a lot of the reason I'm sticking to Star Wars, and I know a lot of people are like, I'm leaving the franchise, which is understandable. But for me, the reason I'm sticking with it, because Star Wars encompasses a lot of things, movies, TVs, and especially in comic books and books, there's a lot of great, diverse authors in terms of comic book authors and novelists who are writing great stuff for the upcoming months and years for Star Wars, especially in the High Republic. There's a lot of diverse authors in that group as well. So I'm excited for that. There's very exciting possibilities. Just that in between these exciting possibilities, there's stuff that's just missed
Needs to be
potential.
addressed.
It needs to be addressed and changed.
Right, and you can love Star Wars and be excited for Star Wars, but you also can recognize that things are very much different than, say, a Rian Johnson movie. It's very different than a person of color, like it's a very different experience for them making a big movie, and so and that I think John Boyega synthesizes that perfectly. It's like. I love that quote, like, don't prop it up. And I feel like don't prop it up if you're not going to follow through. And that's basically where I just want to end it off on, is like, even all the way to Kathleen Kennedy, don't prop it up unless you're going to do it for the right reasons.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So this is a very important discussion for sure. And I'm glad that we could take the time to have it. But like I said, there's like way more than just Star Wars in regards to what John was talking about. So I highly recommend you check out the full GQ article and develop your own thought process based on not just his experience with the sequel trilogy, but just the Hollywood in general. But with that being said, again, distraction or not, we are still fans of The Mandalorian. So this is an interesting little thing to go off of. I didn't even realize there was like any form of an article published by. What is it that they had said here?
Basically just saying the story continues. The second season will debut on October 30th. It's all available. First season, Emmy nominated. Stay tuned for more.
Look how cool we are. Look how cool we are, guys.
It's like we were just saying, it's so funny that they couldn't just have dropped this on Friday because it's just a release date.
It's the tiniest article. It's just a photo, but now they get to use Baby Yoda in mainstream marketing.
Yep, exactly. And yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. I do like the blue color tone of that.
It looks like the planet from the first episode, kind of.
That's what somebody.
That's what I was gonna say.
Too. I can't. It looks different. I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying that's just from, like, theorizing just now, but I mean.
Aha.
Oh.
You said what?
I was just like theorizing based on seeing it now, but yeah, it definitely looks different. Like it's looks more water based.
It could be Octu. No.
Is it Camino cloning facility? No.
Someone said Taco Donna. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
if you look to the left there, you can see Taco Donna's castle.
It's Maz's castle on the left.
You do not. I
saw that tree in The Force Awakens, and it's still there.
It's Pandora from Avatar, then it's Taco Donna.
Pandora.
It does look like that on the right side.
And in the end, like.
Nice boy. I think I can see Ahsoka up there in the background.
Right.
Just kidding.
Is it the Slave One? Like... I thought the Slave One was in a trailer for Solo, but it was an asteroid.
But regardless, turns out all this trailer talk is kind of hilarious because we're like 2 months out, and everyone was, worried that like they weren't gonna promote it, and like, come on, guys.
Did the release date change at all? I thought it was gonna release the beginning of October.
No, everyone just assumed.
Everybody assumed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I totally thought it was gonna be beginning of October as well, just so they could. Mainly, I thought beginning of October because I figured they would have the other Disney Plus shows like WandaVision to accompany this Disney Plus
Release,
rollout this
yeah.
fall. Yeah.
I think
But
Falcon Winter Soldier should have already premiered by this point.
I think, Falcon Winter Soldier seemingly is going to be a 2021 show at this point.
Yeah, I think they're doing more shooting later this year.
I think they're filming in October, which means, yes, a wrap on it coming out this year. But it was interesting because I think somebody was saying, like, since it's coming out October 30th, that this is going to be, if it's 8 episodes at least, then that's going to run till near Christmas time, similar to where season one
ended up. Yeah,
pretty much to the end of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, which means like probably, I know this isn't a Marvel show, but we're not probably going to see any other Disney Plus main shows coming out as well. I mean, unless they want to,
for all we know,
double dip on Fridays if they want to, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think they would want to do that.
They could just for like 6, because streaming shows have done this, or like they add 1 or 2 more episodes to the season. It could be 9 or 10. I don't know.
It could be. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, more is always better, especially if you're gonna cram all these characters in, like give us more time with Mando.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but someone, I can't remember what specifically about the trailer. People were speculating. There's something on September 20th. Or September. I don't know. Maybe it's a week or 2 weeks from now.
I think they were saying like the Emmys themselves, or
yes,
yeah,
the Emmys themselves, which, albeit they are all online this year, right? Or am I going crazy?
I think.
So obviously that's kind of a big audience, especially with direct tie-in with it being nominated for 15 awards, and that's also in the article itself.
I think it's also debuting on ABC, which Disney owns.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they drop it during that. I don't know. It makes more sense than what do you think? It makes more sense than an NBA game or just like a random Tuesday morning on the Twitter account.
I would be surprised. Like, people will say this all the time for Oscars and like, oh, this movie trailer could drop during the Oscars. They got big viewership. Like, I don't remember the last time a big trailer dropped during the Emmys or during the Oscars. I could be completely wrong.
Right.
I can't remember anything.
Trailer dropped like a few years ago. That's fine.
Like what?
I think there might have been one Oscar trailer drop in my brain in the last few years, but
yeah,
it's not very common.
On the same day as the Emmys. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
And nor do I think it needs something to prop it up. That's the other thing I keep thinking about. I'm like, especially because it's already got 1 season in the books, I feel like you can just drop this straight up.
Anytime. Yeah, any day. It doesn't matter. They could drop it freaking tomorrow and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm sure they may even would want to, maybe not like a full trailer, but I'm sure they'll have plenty of TV spots running through every channel.
Mm-hmm.
I could see a full trailer tomorrow, or like Good Morning America, like, hey, we're gonna premiere the trailer tomorrow or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Like trailer, like the Dune teaser you can see right now.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, since it's coming October 30th, I think we can see a trailer literally any day within now and the end
foreseeable
of
future.
Yeah, like this could come out anytime.
Probably.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now sounds about right, because it'll be like near like a little over a month until it's away around that time. But yeah, trailer's on the way. I'm excited for it. I'm always excited for Mandalorian. Baby Yoda is cute, I guess.
I love how he's the one thing I will say about this little poster is he's looking up at him like he's his dad, and it's perfect.
Can you zoom in on it?
Yes, sorry, I was admiring them.
What if the cast just keeps getting bigger, and like every season, like they keep filling out the letters? It's like a different character in each letter.
That would be kind of funny, guys. Like if the team just keeps like getting
Ahsoka.
Yeah, A for Ahsoka, and then
That'd be hilarious. Yeah, they actually have a corresponding letter. Like, who's gonna show up in R? Like,
Ryan Johnson shows up in R. Oh my god,
yeah. He gets the full Ryan at the end.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Anyways, I guess not much left to add on this topic, I would say.
Nope.
Yeah. So yeah, streaming October 30th, special Halloween premiere. I hope it's a scary premiere.
please, though, I guess the last thing, please don't premiere at 2 a.m. Can you just do something about that?
I know they won't. But like,
Can they please do like a 7 p.m. premiere, please? Like,
what's so bad about that? Come on.
At latest, they should do like since they already do midnight on the West Coast, do midnight on the East Coast, 9 o'clock.
And midnight is fun, but not like you're only midnight. Like, don't do it Pacific time every time.
Like, if you have to go midnight, give East Coast midnight so you have at least like even though it's late,
A buffer like between the coasts.
I completely agree. Like midnight on the East Coast makes a lot of sense because then at that point, a lot of people can start talking about it. By then, I'm already half asleep. I'm like, I don't.
And you have a wave of talk across the country, and you're getting the same thing.
Yeah, we've discussed this before. Like,
why can't they just be like HBO? HBO does it perfectly.
Yeah, 9 p.m. Boom.
Boom.
Give me a 5-second spot on your Twitter account. Boom. Coming 9 p.m. Boom. Baby Yoda. I don't see why.
Literally blow up the night and then the following morning, like
right. It'd be trending through the night, like.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened with Game of Thrones all the time. It came on at 9 o'clock. It would trend throughout the night. The morning, people are still talking about it at work or at school with their friends. Come on.
Or now today on your Zoom meetings. Like,
yeah. Your Zoom.
You guys see? I'm gonna pull it up. Share my screen. Look at
this. Oh man. Yeah, get it together, Disney Plus.
Dropping at 3 a.m. Like,
did you resubscribe yet, Carson?
Not yet.
Oh, gee.
October 1st, baby. Here we go.
What? I missed.
Carson didn't subscribe to Disney Plus yet, or resubscribe.
Resubscribe.
Well, now they won't take your opinion until you put money.
Exactly. They're gonna be like, you are unloyal.
Get my money until you change the time slot.
Oh, you didn't buy Mulan? No 7 p.m. premiere for you.
What? Huh? Who? No, not me. Couldn't be me. But yeah, it'll be, I mean, a doozy because it sucks for me, especially because I like to do full videos on it and like get it up.
You're 5 a.m. editing, like
yeah, literally, I'm up until like 7 in the morning, just like, is it up? Cool, crash. But to that point, that's why I didn't even watch Mulan last night. I was too tired. Yeah, to that point, in other Star Wars news, more High Republic stuff, which is exciting. Check this out. It's young.
I love his face.
It's such a great face.
Very Mace Windu snarky.
Yeah.
You tell.
And I think we will see a little bit of snark to him. Honestly, like I think we're gonna see a little bit of his youthfulness, so to speak, in this.
Pretty sure, yeah, 100 right there.
Now, were you guys surprised by this? Because I woke up super surprised because we had all these theories about Yoda in the High Republic series. We're like, should he even be involved?
I never thought about, well, basically just straight off from the look, I didn't expect to see that much of a younger aspect. And he doesn't look like young. He doesn't look like he's like early 20s. But he's a lot less wrinkly and less white hair.
Yeah, I mean, it's, what is it, like 200 years? Or
200 years.
Like, 200 years.
Maybe like late 600s.
Mm-hmm. Late 600s.
The casualness to it
works, man. Because if Baby Yoda, if the child is 50 and looks so young, who's to say how he operates?
Which it just, I keep thinking about that because I'm like, oh, the child's gonna grow up and become Baby Groot and then be like a teenage. But I realize how slow he ages, so he's literally gonna be a child.
I mean, what does he look like by 100? Is he actually in his teen years by 100?
We don't know. It's crazy. But the article here saying Yoda will feature prominently in Danielle Jose Older's Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures comic, coming 2021. And it's especially exciting to be able to introduce him in the era of the High Republic. Older tells StarWars.com, the High Republic Yoda is a journeyman out in the galaxy. It will still be somewhat familiar ground, but obviously some new. I like that he's like traveling in and about because I mean our perception of Yoda is pretty much staked up anywhere, and it's just like you go to Yoda. Yoda doesn't come to you. You know, it's the Clone Wars, and it gets really real. Yoda has to show up.
Clearly. And it's pretty interesting because I think there's a second image, right? For Yoda.
Yes. Let me.
Yeah. I love that.
Now to that. Carson, since you're sharing your screen, can you pull up this tweet I'm about to send in chat?
Yes.
because I made the draw comparison because I think they were even saying in the article, check out this brand new design of Yoda, and I was like, hang on a second, I've seen this before. Yeah, so I'm gonna send it in chat right now. Yeah, there we go. Wait, did I send the right one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, so yeah, if you pull up those images I just found.
I had to stop sharing and then share the other one.
Very well. Yeah, I was just like, this image looks oddly familiar. And
right when I saw it, I was like, I know exactly where this is.
I know
from.
which frame we're looking at.
Yeah. I was like, is this really concept art here? Come on now. Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Yeah, it matches up.
Like, is that really concept art? It's just like copy and paste.
I'm pretty sure they just use the smooth filter. And
It's kind of, like his eye is even down to the
lights
in the left one.
position. Like,
Yeah, it's too funny.
you can follow me at this story.
I love. We could plug our Twitters at the end of this too if we really wanted to.
Oh yeah. Sure. As you can see, don't kill me. I have a blue butterfly from Ben Solo. But you know, we've been openly Raylo.
But yeah, right when I saw that image, I'm like, okay, so this is Revenge of the Sith Yoda. It's very funny that it was termed concept art, but that's what happens. Like concept artists get a lot of inspiration from stuff they see in the movies and TV shows and everything. What I found interesting was that in the article here it says he would feature prominently in Daniel Jose Order's IDW Marvel or IDW comic. Now, I think there's 2 comics coming out for the High Republic, or 2 publishers. There's a lot of publishers for High Republic.
Yeah,
but I think for comics, there's going to be. That's pretty cool.
I think they got one Marvel one, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. I think there's one Marvel one, and then there's one IDW one. I forget who's writing the Marvel. Kevin Scott. I think Kevin Scott is doing the Marvel one. Daniel Jose Order is doing the IDW one.
One of those is your audio drama boy, isn't it?
Yeah, Kevin Scott's who wrote Dooku Jedi Lost.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I remember Carson being very upset.
Yeah, I
oh yeah.
I swear.
You're reading comics now, so
now I can get hype. So yeah, pretty cool. With an appearance in a visual medium, that would mean a new design for an iconic character. It was a challenge not to be taken lightly. To update Yoda, but also to be true to the Yoda that we all know and love. Which, of course, Nathan did the very Yoda.
It's funny too because people are also joking because there's the just terrible fandom menace artists out there who redesigns everybody to either look like either the High Republic males have to look more jacked or the females or the women. Sorry, what no one said. Are a lot more scantily clad. And it was just like, come on. And then somebody was like, well, yeah, I'll wait till they redesign Yoda. And it's just like that Hulk Photoshop.
But yeah, this is interesting. I think one of my favorite comments in this article is where they say like he's doing like the study abroad thing. That was very funny.
Yeah, he's a journeyman or something.
It's up. It's there in the.
It's like right.
Do you think he's still as wise, or
the High Republic Yoda is a journeyman out in the galaxy, according to Older.
Yeah, which is exactly what we were theorizing, right? We're like, I don't want him to be like this huge presence in these High Republic stories. Like, I don't want him teaching people doing the same stuff he's doing now. I don't want him having his own run. What? Do you
think he'll be stage like?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he has the potential to show up in the books too. I would definitely. I don't know. I don't think the initial books for say in the stones of these new characters. Like I don't think he's going to be in Claudia Gray's first book or Charles Soule first book. But I think if we talk about what was it, phase 2 or whatever they were saying, I can't remember.
Yeah.
How they were phrasing it, but
they're saying
yeah. I could see him show up in phase 2 and being an impact to some of the main characters that we get attached to.
I agree. Yeah, I think right off the bat, like in Charles Soule comic book, or Charles Soule's Light of the Jedi book, I think there's going to be a lot of references to like, oh yeah, Yoda's out in such and such training these Jedi. Like he's helping Jedi from abroad. I don't think he's going to have his own Yoda book. Hopefully not, at least.
Probably. Yeah. It should be interesting. I'm excited to see Yoda in. I would like to get more. By the future, iconic Yoda moments that are like great, that aren't just like tied to the nostalgic stuff we know. Like, it's funny. Like I love Rebels, but every time they would bring up Yoda, they would bring up like the do or do not, and it's like, well, okay. But,
Yeah, it's true.
but like you see actually Yoda in The Last Jedi, and he has like a lot more memes. That's my favorite Yoda moment ever. Is the greatest teacher failure moment. So I'm hoping to see, even though he's not, probably going to be his like most esteemed wiseness, because even by the actual Republic era, like he's obviously made mistakes, as I just said for the Last Jedi thing. But he's still 700 years old, so I'm sure he's seen enough stuff to offer at least some wisdom and some new perspectives, which I think is always fun.
Exactly. Yeah, I wonder what new things he's going to be teaching these Jedi compared to, just like different teaching styles. I think one of the things that's notable about the prequel trilogy is that the style will start to change in terms of how people teach about the Force. So
why do you? I was just thinking about this now because I just realized Yoda's actually wearing the older Jedi robes, which are so beautifully designed. But I wonder why the Jedi moved from such beautiful looking robes to just straight brown.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I like about the High Republic, because each character that they're introducing for the High Republic has two types of outfits. Like they have their regal outfit, then they have their mission outfit.
I might have a theory because like I know, especially by the original trilogy, like a lot of people are dressed kind of like the way Jedi were. So maybe like this is a more like regal look, but like something's gonna happen with like a shakeup with like the Jedi Order that like you just got to be more discreet in the galaxy.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, like in the Light of the Jedi, in the front cover, like they're in that mission outfit. Like the main woman, she's like in that mission kind of outfit. But then in some other concept art, you can see her with the big robe. So they changed on and off, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know if I have much more to go for that.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention for one last little topic. I remember Nathan, you sent this in chat one time. Was it Forces of Destiny or Galaxy of Adventures? They dropped like 3 new shorts, and I feel like we forgot to talk about it.
There was 3 new Galaxy Adventures based around Galaxy's Edge and Batu.
Yes, which I can't find like the article of it or them posted on the YouTube unless they're on the Star Wars Kids YouTube.
They're on Star Wars Kids.
Okay,
that's where they all go.
Good old Star Wars Kids.
I initially thought that just from toxic fans that the channel had to turn off their comments, but that's just because if your channel is making kid content,
you gotta have it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there was a lot of great posts. Like the first one that anybody would primarily check out, I think, is there was the whole basically the Smuggler's Run Millennium Falcon ride with that features both Chewbacca and Hondo, which is great. There's a whole one that follows a Porg, which was fun.
I'm looking at this. It looks cool.
And are these all recent?
Yeah, they're all posted the same day, like a week ago. Wow. I think probably today.
I'll pull up the. I won't play it for copyright reasons, but I'll pull up this still.
It's fun.
Can we talk over it? Is that
cool? It's a reaction. Let's go.
Yeah.
And yeah, they also did Rise of the Resistance, which was pretty fun. But yeah, we could pull them up. Like, I love the designs too. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know. Is it lagging or?
No, it's perfect.
It's going. I mean, we can't hear audio, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, I muted it. Sorry, because I didn't know if we wanted to.
Oh, so this is on audio.
You have a Social Blade?
Yeah, I got a Social Blade plug-in.
I don't. I have a channel.
I like to be looking at them stats, but yeah, the animation looks really cool, and I guess we really haven't seen we haven't seen Black Spire Outpost or just any of the Galaxy's Edge stuff in animation. So I mean, it looks freaking
That's
great.
Incredible. Yeah, Batu right there.
Let me go to the other one quick.
There's Hondo.
Hondo and Naka.
We gotta go to the Porg one.
Porg one's great, man. Let's just watch the whole thing.
Can you guys hear if I turn off?
Try it. No.
Nope.
Okay.
That's cool. But yeah, it's so cute. Look at it. Look at that Porg. I can finally
like
Carson's logo design with the proper looking.
Well, I love it. It's hilarious.
It's so cute, man.
Well, we got live reactions on the channel now.
That's that one seller, right? That Doc Ondor something like that.
Yeah, what's his name? Oh,
yeah,
and that's that the animatronic droid that's there too?
Yeah, that's in the cantina.
Yeah.
Fork dancing. That's great. Is that hair in the background? No, I'm
I don't know.
kidding.
It's so cute.
But
though.
yeah,
this is
I was
awesome.
like, these looks really cool, and I don't know. I think they came out before our episode last week, and we just forgot to mention them.
Oh wow. Forgetting her name. V Murati. Yeah.
Okay. Is she from the music part? Look at it.
Oh my god!
Oh, yikes.
Why are you going to it?
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
That's
oh
amazing.
my god! So
but
yeah,
Rise of
these
Resistance.
are great.
I think I made a joke in chat, like the kid that's in the Rise of Resistance one. I was like, if you change up the hair, it kind of looks like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I felt because I was watching a lot of interviews with him and Inception and everything, but I felt like they're great, dude.
Yeah, I always love those shorts. Like, man, like every time
They're so wholesome. Like I don't know, everyone.
Yeah.
Dude, it's been so long since the last one. I was like so like deprived. And so when they dropped 3 at once, I was in heaven.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned when we started talking about this, because I'm like, I remember Nathan like said like 3 things, like, oh my god, new shorts, and then nobody said anything.
Eating today.
And I'm like, so we need to bring it up on the show because it needs to be validated because they're really cool.
Dude, there's so many great reference points too. I think I took like 32 screenshots of just like new posters.
You're like, what is that in the background?
Like, good articulate. It's great.
That was fun. Yeah.
But otherwise, to that point, if I were to give us a topic of discussion, I think for more fitting, maybe like throw out our favorite Finn moments.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
That would be a really good one for a poll.
Right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, we got to come up with consensus. We'll come up with 4 options right now. We'll vote in our top 4, and then we'll make it the poll.
I have my favorite.
Okay, you go first then. Wow.
It's like I've been saying, it's like the origin of like the tattoo I want to get for Star Wars, but it's just the whole like confrontation between Finn and Phasma in The Last Jedi when they're knocked down and Phasma's like, you were always scum, and he's just like rebel scum. Like he fully embraces the inside.
Yeah.
That probably goes down as my favorite personal.
That definitely has to be up there. That's a fantastic moment because it was incredible. I love the whole Phasma fight. I wish it was a bit longer because the music is intense. It gets crazy. It gets insane.
I love when he like comes up from that where he's like, "Hey."
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, gosh, I'm gonna try to keep mine to like 2 per movie, and then we'll vote from there. But like,
okay,
Force Awakens, I really love the scene in the cantina where he admits to Rey basically everything, and Rey's looking down on him, and he's admitting, he's like, Rey, come with me. And John Boyega is so good in that scene. I can't explain it. He's just like, it's just so sincere, and like it's the first time that you really know that these two are going to be, really good friends forever. It's just like
a long haul. Yeah.
And the other one is a little moment actually at the beginning of the lightsaber fight when Rey gets like knocked out, and that lightsaber, it belongs to me. Come and get it.
I'm about to say. I thought you were going to mention
that moment.
That is my moment from The Force Awakens.
The first time he gets the lightsaber, he's like, I don't have a weapon. And that to evolve to that, I love it so much.
It's one of the best scenes in the sequel trilogy. I love his fight with Kylo Ren.
You feel the energy so much. It's just like you feel
see
every
Kylo
punch.
like walk over to him. And I'm like, oh my god! Dude, backing up. Oh man,
dude, I've always memorized.
So good.
Grant, I love Ben's character, but I love the choreography. But I love how he like Ben goes like slash, but then he like swings his saber.
Oh, that spin is my favorite spin. It gotta be.
I remember seeing that in like the final shot of the trailer. I'm like, oh my god, it's walking over. Like, yeah, that is my favorite moment for Finn in The Force Awakens because besides it being a very cool fight scene, it also encompasses his character arc in that movie very well. He's been running away, but then he chooses to fight for Rey, fight for the rebellion in that scene. And man, it's so good. Love it. That's a fantastic scene.
I'm like making it like presently.
Nathan's already put in the options. Last Jedi. There's so much.
So yeah, we have Rebel
We have
Scum. What else?
Yeah.
Um,
Trying to think of one other key moment in that.
Canto Bight. I'm trying to think of a lot of them, but they're all just like Kelly moments more so than
Right. It's
Finn
like
moments.
I guess I gotta say, they hate that ship. I love that moment.
It's a funny moment.
Or just Finn's. I love Finn's sacrifice as a whole. I really do like that.
That's it.
Because
That's
that's the moment that he chooses to put his life on the line for the resistance.
Yeah.
And that's the payoff of his arc in that movie, and it's really he ends
intense.
up. Yeah, it's you think he's done for in a moment. The little pod starts like shittering. It comes off the ground, and you're like, "Oh my god, he's going in!"
I would never forget my first time watching the movie. I'm like, "Oh, are they doing it? Are they doing it?"
Yeah,
Like,
dude, it was stressful. And then,
thank you, Rose, for saving him.
or when he's walking around with the leaking bag, it's peak comedy. Finn naked leaking bag.
he's just like. Ugh.
Leading up to one of the best transitions in all of Star Wars, where he says, "Where's Rey?" John Williams, you cut to the island, sunrise. It's
like,
so good.
Like you hear the off. Oh, so good.
Even with just from physical acting, I love when like in the Force Awakens, all the troopers are ordered to fire on the villagers, but he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean that's one of that is the first Finn moment.
Yeah, and then Kylo looks at him,
like the blood on the helmet. That whole scene.
Yeah,
great, and he's freaking out everywhere. It's so good.
Oh yeah, and the scene where he meets Poe too is absolutely
iconic. Yeah,
we need to lock down on 4.
Okay. So from what we said so far, Rebel Scum, Finn's final like crate thing,
great sacrifice,
and then his battle with Kylo. That's 3, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, I had the Confession of Maz Castle, but if you guys have a better one,
do you guys want to say anything from Tross?
I'm thinking.
That's sad, but
I really.
I'm just being honest. I can't think of anything.
I mean, I love.
Where's Rey?
Rey. No. I can't leave it. No, I like. I like it.
She just pushes them.
I like the moment he shares with No, but I do love the moment that he shares with Jenna on Falcon.
Yes, great scene. See, those private moments in the Tross are really good, like with Oscar and what's it called?
Gary Russell
Russell.
Finally, we can breathe, and then
exactly. Everybody in the movie theater was like.
I love the holo chess game with Chewie. That's a fun little moment.
It's okay.
It's a fun little moment.
It is a fun little moment. Yeah.
What about the TIE fighter in the beginning of Force Awakens when they start shooting down the cannon and they get free and the whole Jakku. That gives me so much energy.
He gets his name there.
Force Awakens. Yeah.
We can do 4 from the Force Awakens alone.
There's so much.
But I'm sticking by keeping Rebel Scum.
Yeah.
What other one would you guys pick from the Force Awakens, or do you want to do the Janna scene?
Let's include the Janna scene to give Tross some love.
All right,
put it out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because if I did Force Awakens, I would either go because we don't have a Force Awakens one on here yet. I would go.
I said Finn and Kylo.
No, yeah, my bad.
I'm about to say.
Okay, but would you guys put the Janna moment over either the TIE fighter in name or the village assault?
See, I wouldn't, but I don't want to leave Tross hanging in a way. I don't know. It's up to you guys. Like I could be outvoted. I could be out. I don't care. I just feel like should we include something from Tross to keep it like fair and even, or we can just do 2 from The Force Awakens and 2 from.
You know what? People who they can reply if they want to do the. Put the name Inception thing. I really like that scene of like when they're just him and Oscar just bouncing off.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Perfect. That's that's like the Finn energy encapsulated.
Yeah.
He's like he's free for the first time. It's amazing.
Yeah, FN 219. I don't like that. Like, I'm calling you Finn.
Finn, I like that.
Ah, so good.
Okay, so so out of the four, I have the TIE fighter scene, I have the saber battle, the rebel scum, and I have Finn's sacrifice on Crate.
Perfect.
Yeah, I would.
How would you title the Kylo battle? You just said Finn versus Kylo.
I have like pretty much quotes for everything. This one, it was a "Come Get It" saber fight.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, come and get it. Oh, so good.
So
that made me fall in love with Finn. I'm like, okay, I can see myself in Finn right there because I'm like, let's go, Kyle, let's go.
And I love honestly, it didn't click for me until later, probably until Last Jedi. It took me, but right after the TIE fighter scene in Force Awakens, he actually like, as he takes off the armor, I'm like, oh my God, why did I never recognize it before? He's literally taking off the Stormtrooper armor and leaving it scattered behind him. I'm like, oh my God, the symbolism.
Right. It's also great too when he's in the gunner seat on Jakku for the.
Oh, that's a great one.
How can we forget that?
That's my favorite.
Really good.
I'm telling you, Force Awakens.
And then him and Rey are like bouncing off each other. Like, how did you do that? Oh, what's your name? Like,
I don't really like that scene.
Pull up the Galaxy of Adventure of that, dude. It's so good. They have that too. Like they have the Rey and Finn versus Kylo Ren Galaxy Adventure, where like it starts with that, but then they go into the whole friendship with Rey and Finn, like flying the Falcon and stuff. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a great scene.
But we're
that's
stuck
not
with
how the Force works. That's more of a Harrison moment.
Right, Harrison, too. Imitation.
Oh, and he's like, I'm the boss now. Like,
I'm in charge. Have you guys seen the actual comic frame where Finn actually has like a mop and like Kylo's like in his face?
Yeah, that's so
No.
good. Like he stands up, he's like, I don't want to say anything. Yeah, that was in the what's it called? Resistance. The
Age of Resistance.
Age of Resistance comic for Finn,
which was pre TFA, obviously. But this is just a couple
timeline wise.
Comic I think was around Tross.
Yeah, the comic was in 2019, but it takes place in pre TFA. Yeah.
Great.
Lovely.
That was a great poll. I mean, I'm very cool. Right now, my main pick is it's so hard because I connect the most with Finn versus Kylo, but I love Finn's sacrifice.
Yeah, I think it's between those two for me. But also, I just said I love the TIE Fighter scene.
TIE Fighter is great.
Yeah. It literally is the Force Awakens amazing pacing encapsulated into two characters just bouncing off each other. It's kinetic. It is electric.
I remember before Tross, I'm like, JJ is the king of pacing. The king.
Look at that camera movement on the base. Oh, whoa.
I'm like, the Star Trek 2009 pacing is impeccable.
Mustafar, the Hall finders going through the star. I don't even know what's happening.
You know what's funny is like I super admired the tracking shot when they're like when it moves from Poe to Finn on the base in Force Awakens, and it's like, oh, it's beautiful. And then it felt like Tross did that for like every shot. I was like,
every single shot.
I'm so queasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt like a theme park.
Also, the scene between him and Maz, you don't know a thing about me. I love that moment. That moment's great.
So good. And he has a lot of great stuff. There's great moments in Last Jedi too. I love when he walks to the casino. He's just like, oh.
I love that. Yeah.
Look at it all.
Because he's never experienced anything outside of that, so he doesn't know. Like
when he's talking to him and Rose are saying like he wants to like destroy the whole city or something like that. Then Rose speaks to him when they're overlooking the horse race. And
then afterwards, like it was worth it to tear up that town.
Mm-hmm.
So
good. Yeah.
And fun moments like when they're like trying to break into the vault with DJ, and like he's taking like a couple seconds too long. He's just like.
I love that. Man. I still can't get over the deleted scene. I'm glad it's deleted, but the one in the elevator, Finn and all that, I don't even know. It's like talking to some stormtrooper.
Is that
it's so weird?
Yeah,
I'd have to pull it up, but it's
Oh my god.
So funny.
Pretty sure he smacked him on the back.
So weird.
If you want to share it. But,
Yeah.
The poll's live. I don't know if any of you have
Oh, let me go. Signal boost.
already. I'm in a tiebreaker with one other person.
That's funny. But before we close out, I also want to talk about the Vader comics that I've been reading.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, I think last time I talked about just the Vader issue number 2, where Vader was on a mission to find out what happened to Padme's body, and the mystery continues in this one, where the last one ended where he came into contact with Sabe, who was one of the Queen's shadows for Padme Amidala, and she's also looking for the person that might have killed Padme, but specifically she's also looking for Anakin too. She was close to Anakin, and Anakin was known as Padme's like protector or Padme's bodyguard. And they both disappeared kind of around the same time. So what happened with them? So right now they go to Naboo in search of like this hollow recording of what might have of like who kind of messed with Padme's grave in Coruscant.
It's a Palpatine.
Yeah. So let me see here. He comes into contact with Typho from the Phantom Menace, which is very interesting, right? Is that named Captain Typho?
Typho Diaz.
I think that's his name.
I think it's right.
Yeah, and they also want to kill like whoever's responsible for Padme's death. That's like the main thing. But by the end,
also for Anakin too.
Yeah, it's so interesting because like Vader's walking around like, dude, you know you're the one that killed Padme in a way. Like you choked.
He ain't gonna admit it. But...
Yeah, he's not gonna admit it. Or you think because like, but by the end of the issue, they finally find the recording, but the recording is a trap by Sabe and Typho, who they say like we know that on Mustafar that planet is called Vader's homeworld.
Ooh.
And that planet is also the same place where Anakin and Padme were right before they died.
So they think Vader killed both of them?
Exactly. They said you killed Padme and you killed Anakin Skywalker. And they do a whole flashback to Anakin burning on Mustafar. I'm like, holy crap. It was crazy.
Even to that point, do you think Anakin's in self-denial that it's his fault?
Or 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's in denial, but he says like, "Yes, I killed Anakin" or something like that. I'm just like, oh.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like he says that. And then it was very cool because right now they're in that boo and they're not in that what is it called? Like that bubble, that Gungan bubble from the Phantom Menace, underwater, and they lay a trap for him, and it's that big apex predator that was going to attacked like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon's ship.
Bigger fish.
Yeah, the bigger fish, and that was the end of issue number 3. But then when it got to issue number 4, which came out last week, I think, that one was even more fantastic because you see.
I'm sorry, I keep.
Yeah.
Do you think that Vader's ever gonna admit to them that he used to be Anakin?
Ooh, I don't think so. It's possible. I think by the end of this journey for him, he might reveal that too.
So, what issue is this? Sorry, is it issue number 2, 3?
Number 3, the one I was just talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. So issue number 4 came out last week, and I just read that one just today, and I was completely engrossed by it because he was fighting the apex predator. And I was mentioning like, a couple weeks ago, he has like this very cool sidekick droid that's very analytical and very awesome, like analytical in a funny comedic sense. Yeah. Like the only thing that can kill these Naboo apex predators are other Naboo apex predators. Just going on the joke, like there's always a bigger fish, like
the droid surgeon in Grievous's lair.
Yeah, it's just very funny and matter of fact and to the point. And yeah, so issue number 4 was very cool. Of course, he obviously kills the fish. So it was very cool. But then the whole other side of the issue was just him fighting, like, because later on that night, he goes back to Naboo to try and find Padme's grave. And he comes into contact with this group called the Amidalans. And they're all like past guards and past Queen's Shadow for Padme. And they flash back to the Phantom Menace where little Anakin was with like those people trying to fight off the Trade Federation droids. And they're like, we've helped Anakin fight against the Trade Federation. We won't let you desecrate their legacy. And it's like, this is Anakin. It's like, oh.
Does that mean the at least Naboo know about Anakin and Padme's relationship?
No, I think they just compared them as like he was her most loyal bodyguard.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it's
stemming from more Attack of the Clone.
Yeah, stemming from the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones specifically, where they're like, oh, because he came back on Attack of the Clones, of course.
Because that would have been great. I would have liked that.
Yeah, that'd been awesome. So yeah, I noted like how I love the Phantom Menace flashbacks. It makes me love like the Phantom Menace and even Attack of the Clones even more in terms of Padme and Anakin's relationship. And then the last thing was he finally makes it to Padme's tomb site. He fights against Sabe. He doesn't kill them. He's about to, but then he sees like the statue of Padme, and then he lets him go, and then he enters the grave. Like this big door opens, and he enters the grave / tomb.
He doesn't open it, does he?
Yeah, no, it's like this big tomb thing. So we don't see the grave, but we just see like this big like corridor. So he's about to walk inside, and the caption like "What's inside?" Like find out next time, basically. Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, that's amazing.
I think our next chapter is going to be very emotionally like flashback fueled thing.
Sounds like the best way to run.
It's really good so far. The best ones are the ones where you get those flashbacks because that was in Charles Soule Run as well, where he like flashed back and forth between the Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones with Anakin and him struggling with being Vader. So yeah, I'm loving this. It was so funny because I didn't want to read another Darth Vader miniseries or series in general, and it's killing it so far. Every month, these are great issues. So great job.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's very good. I'd really recommend it to everybody listening.
Well, alrighty, that about does it for our show then. Yeah. Okay.
Look at us, cool hour and a half.
Right.
A tight hour and a half. I like that.
Carson, I didn't know if you were like going about that idea you threw out of like our plugged Twitters.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think. You know what? Let's get a graphic for next week.
That'd be good.
And then we'll just pull it up on screen, and then it honestly we can pull up our poster on screen with our Twitter handles on them, and then we can just have that.
There we go.
So get to work, Nathan.
In the meantime, you can pull up the Hyperspace toy. I don't know. That would actually, yeah. That's
yes.
right.
Let's pull up the.
Everybody reply to vote and reply for the poll too.
Absolutely.
But yeah, let's show that right now.
Just for the kickoff right now.
I'm looking at it right now. I don't know who to vote for. I don't know who to vote for.
I didn't vote for it. Hint. No.
I know which one you voted for, yeah.
But yeah, Evan, where can the good people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9. I'm going to have a lot of Twitter reactions this weekend with a lot of the movies coming out. I'm seeing Tenet tomorrow. It's going to be very exciting. Other than that, yeah, I'm going to tweet out some Big Brother reactions. It's been a crazy season of Big Brother, so if you want to keep up with that, I'll always be welcome to interact about Big Brother. Otherwise, yeah, busy weekend ahead. Can't wait.
Carson, where can they find you?
You guys can find me over on Twitter at @TheFilmCarson. I'm going to see Tenet again this weekend on Sunday. Excited about that, but also this weekend I'm going to check out Charlie Kaufman's I'm Thinking of Ending Things on Netflix. Very excited to watch that movie. And also, I think I'm going to finish the Bill and Ted trilogy either tonight or this weekend. I don't really know what's going on with that. However, they are great. And we talked about the first one on My Cup of Tea, so you guys should totally watch that. But we have the Hyperspace Hype Twitter pulled up right now on screen share, Nathan, if you want to send it to there. You guys can follow us there. The new poll is up right here. So go vote. What isn't it? Oh, wow. 8 votes, and we unexpected.
Yeah, I'm really the only one who voted Rebel Scum so far, huh?
I voted for Finn's Sacrifice, as you can see, but
interesting.
It was tough. We'll see.
Man, I like that. Yeah, man. We might as well just like leave that open. But yeah, find me here on this channel, and all of our social media is linked in the description below. Hopefully we can finish out Bill and Ted. I think the Discord party is supposed to start in like 20 minutes.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so and granted we've already watched the first one a couple days ago, but like I could watch these movies endlessly. They're so fun and so fast. It's such a great time. For sure.
Are you guys doing the whole trilogy over there tonight?
I think so.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because they're
They're only 90 minutes each, so it goes pretty quick.
So-
It's basically, it's one Tenet, basically. Well,
but also it's funny because we were watching the first Bill and Ted, and we were like, "This is like very, very lean back Tenet in points." And
right. That's what I was saying the other day. It's the perfect movie to watch after Tenet.
It's so fun. But yeah, you can catch us following up for general film stuff on Wednesday for My Cup of Tea, which I'll probably offer a review on Mulan, which should be fun. Don't think I'll be going back to the theater this weekend unless I really want to, but I don't think so. There's not a lot of new releases, and they stopped the re-releases at my theater.
Oh my God, just updated live. It's so cool.
We are alive.
2 votes. Rebel.
Wow, look at us.
Yeah, look at us. Look at who the fuck? Not me. But yeah, if you want to engage in fun, no doubt we'll engage back with you throughout the Twitter because it's always live. I'm always getting updates. So with that being said, if you did enjoy our podcast, hit the like button, subscribe if not already. And with that being said, I hope you have a great day, and may the force be with you.